Hello everyone and welcome. I wanted to just really quick film a tutorial that I've been meaning to do for a long time. And I was working on this page and I was like, you know what? This is perfect. So I wanted to show how you can color metal or make something look like it's some form of metal. So I'm trying to make these leaves look like they're copper. I made this look like it was some sort of green metal. I will show you up close what it looks like. Let me zoom in so I don't know if you can see that really well, but let me zoom back out. Okay, so you can use this with any kind of pencil. I have found that I prefer using Polychromos for my metallics, so especially for more bronze colors or copper colors. In fact, this book has a lot of examples of that. So right here, all of these silver and kind of the brassy looking gold is Polychromos. All of this is Polychromos. This is Polychromos, and if you want the colors for this, it's 192, 188, and 109. It's a Polychromos. So yeah, I highly recommend those ones for metallics. I know there's one more in here that was chrome. Oh, where is it? Oh, I also use Polychromos for the gold on these beetles. Where is that one? Sorry. It's okay, this one. This is a chrome, and I just used like black and a medium gray and left a lot of white. So really the key to making something look like it's metal is to have hard and soft edges, and also to have highlights to just kind of capture what a reflection would look like on metal. So I already started shading on this leaf right here, and I kind of want to show what I mean about hard and soft. Well, actually first, let me talk about how to pick the pencils. So right now I'm using Caran d'Ache Luminance because that's what I'm using for this picture, but you can use any pencil brand that you have. The key is to have a dark tone, so I have the natural russet, and then a mid-tone, which is going to be the main color that you have. So it's kind of a mid-tone, and then you want a really light tone. So I have Indian Yellow as my light tone, and if you're not sure if the colors will work well together, you can always do a test. So I mean, I did this test on the back of sticky notes, but just to make sure that the colors blend together well and marry well together and look cohesive. So if you can see right here, there's a hard edge right here, and then it goes out to soft. And then also right here, there's a hard edge, and I have softened it a little bit, but not a lot. I'll do it again right here. If you're coloring metal for the first time, I recommend picking an artist who maybe has more guides as far as like shading. So for example, this is really helpful because I can make these lines into hard lines for parts of the metal, and then Kirby Rosanna's books are really helpful in figuring out where to put the hard and soft lines for metals. So anyways, so I made that hard line, and then in parts of it I will only soften it a little bit, and then in other parts I will soften it out a lot, like this. And then I'm going to add a shadow down here. It could be helpful to look at a picture reference. I just kind of choose my highlights randomly just to make it look like it's shiny. But you can look at a picture reference to kind of see where highlights will show up on metals. And then right here, I'm going to actually make this part dark and then fade it out like this. Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to go in with my mid-tone. And for metals, I always start with the darkest, just to kind of lay out where things go. And when you're first starting, if you're nervous, you can always go down lightly just to see if you like how it looks, and if you don't like how you're laying out your highlights and your dark sharp edges, you can always erase it. Okay, so next I go in with this mid-tone and I start on the darkest, and actually you don't use your mid-tone as much on as much space as I thought, sorry. And I just kind of go back over that and bring that color out a little bit. It's same right here. So it's starting to look more metallic. Okay, so I didn't add dark right here because I wanted to have a highlight right there, but I don't want this whole thing to be a highlight personally. So I'm actually going to take this mid-tone, connect it right here, and bring it down this direction. And with my mid-tone, I don't use a lot of pressure. I am very light. The only place where I will use pressure for my mid-tone is when I'm going over the darkest part of the color. And again, just very faded out. So I think also the key is remembering to leave white. Sometimes that's the hardest part for me to remember. So yeah, I have to force myself to remember that. So with the light tone, I then go over everything again because it helps burnish for one. And then I just bring it up and just a little bit. And then this whole thing, I don't want to be highlighted, so I'm just going to take a little bit of that and add some color right there. This one, this part, I'm going to have this whole part be a highlight. And then for this one, just a little bit of that. And then, so I guess this is more like I don't know what kind of metal this is. I'm clicking on the name. I was going for copper, but this might or might not work for copper. You have to see once I add on the bigger parts of this leaf. Oh, also, before I forget to mention, this is in Tales from the Forest Kingdom by Hannah Carlson. So for this highlight, I'm actually going to leave that edge hard because we have a nice smooth blend right here. So I want a hard highlight right there. You don't always have to soften out your light tones or your highlights, because highlights also have hard and soft edges, so you can play with that as well. Then go in here. Now I don't want as much highlight on this part as I do have on the edges, so I'm only going to leave a little bit of the white kind of in the middle right here. Yeah. So usually for like the larger part, the larger body of an object, I don't have as much of a highlight as I do on the edges or where things overlap, if that makes sense. So let me just go through it one more time just to show it how it looks. Let's do a bigger one just so it's a little bit easier to see. So I'm going to put in a highlight here, and I think even, yeah, right there. So I am going to follow the guidelines on this leaf pretty closely. So I do use a lot of pressure, well, medium pressure at the very edge where I want my metal to be darkest. Okay, so this one I want to have a lot more copper colors in it, so I'm not going to put in as much red. So here's a hard edge, here's a semi-hard edge, and then here's a fairly soft edge. And then I want my highlight, I think, to start on the tip of this leaf and yeah. When you're first starting out, I would recommend doing less, like working up to just starting out with less of the super dark so that you don't end up with most of the object that you're trying to color being really dark, just for practice. Yeah, just start out with a little bit, and then you can stop and look at it and decide if you want your metal to be darker, because you can get a decent idea of what it will, like how many highlights you'll have and stuff just based on this. So if you want it to be a darker metal or have less light on it, then you would add more of the dark color in there. And then let's go in with the mid-tone natural acid. That one's the lighter one, right? Oh, that's, did I go in with acid? Okay, so you know what? I think I went in with the wrong color. But hey, that's okay, because I can just go over this on the darkest spot really fast. For silvers, I will usually only use black and then a medium gray or a lighter gray. But for other metals, I will usually use 3 colors. So silver is the only exception for that. Okay, so now that I've made that a little darker, sorry about that, I wasn't paying attention. Go in with the lightest color and just really blend all of that together. Okay, so I do want a highlight to be right here on this leaf. So I'm gonna bring some of this color down, but leave that tip highlighted. And then bring this up a little bit. And fade it out into where I want my highlight, which is like right here. And then I think I want this highlight coming down like that. And then this one come from here. Okay. So there's that leaf. I hope this video was helpful and that everything made sense, and that maybe you have a little bit more confidence in coloring something that's metal, because I know for me for a long time that was really intimidating. So when I kind of figured out how to do that, it was kind of like this whole new world was opened up. So anyways, let me know if you have any questions, or if you have any requests for other tutorials, and I hope to see you next time. Happy coloring!